Victoria Lang lived in a world of glass and steel, where the walls were transparent but her life was opaque. Perched atop the city in her silent, immaculate office, she commanded respect and exuded authority. She was the CEO, respected, efficient, and always in control. Her decisions shaped the future of the company, and her presence was felt in every corner of the building. Her sharp suits and tightly pulled hair were her armor, a facade that kept her vulnerabilities hidden from the world. Victoria's days were a blur of meetings and decisions, her emotions locked away. She moved from one task to the next with mechanical precision, never pausing to reflect. No family photos, no personal touches, just a sleek laptop and a pen worth a fortune. Her office was a testament to her success, but also to her isolation. She believed feelings were distractions, so she kept them hidden. Emotions, she thought, were a sign of weakness, and weakness had no place in her world. Each morning, her driver Arthur ferried her from a pristine apartment to her equally pristine office. The routine was comforting in its predictability. She watched the city below, never really seeing the people in it. The bustling streets were just a backdrop to her life, a life lived at a distance. Her apartment was beautiful, but empty, more like a showroom than a home. It was a place to sleep, not to live. Victoria had everything: money, power, success, but a quiet ache lingered. She had climbed to the top, only to find herself alone. At night, the city lights reminded her how alone she truly was. The twinkling lights were a stark contrast to the darkness she felt inside. She had built a fortress to keep the world out, but it had become her prison. The glass walls that once symbolized her success now felt like barriers. Victoria Lang was powerful, but she was also deeply lonely. Her achievements felt hollow without someone to share them with. She had forgotten how to feel anything else. In her quest for success, she had lost touch with the very things that made life worth living. One sunny Tuesday, as Victoria left her building, the world felt as ordinary as ever. The city buzzed with its usual energy, cars honking, people rushing, the distant hum of conversation. Victoria, always composed and purposeful, moved through the crowd like she belonged to another rhythm, her mind already on her next meeting. But then, a small voice cut through the noise, stopping her in her tracks. It was so unexpected, so gentle, that it seemed to hush the city around her. "Excuse me," said a little girl with messy pigtails, her hands clutching a crumpled drawing of a sun. The paper was worn, but the colors were bright and hopeful, as if the sun itself had been captured by a child's imagination. "I'm Lacey. I live at the children's home nearby. I see you every day. You look so important." Her voice was both shy and bold, a mixture of awe and longing. Lacey's request was simple. "Can I spend a day with you? I want to see what it's like to be important." She looked up at Victoria with wide, hopeful eyes, as if she were asking for the world. Victoria was stunned. People asked her for money or jobs, never her time. The request felt oddly intimate, almost intrusive, yet it tugged at something deep inside her. She almost said no, her default answer to anything unscheduled. Her calendar was her shield, her armor against the unpredictable. But looking into Lacey's hopeful eyes, she saw a flicker of loneliness she recognized. It was the same loneliness she sometimes glimpsed in her own reflection late at night, after the world had quieted. For the first time in years, Victoria did something spontaneous. She felt her carefully constructed walls tremble, just a little. "All right," she said, surprising herself as much as Lacey. "One day, this Saturday." The words felt strange and exhilarating on her tongue. Lacey's face lit up with a smile as bright as her drawing. In that instant, the city's grayness seemed to melt away, replaced by a burst of color and hope. The city's noise faded. The moment felt strangely important. It was as if time had slowed, allowing Victoria to truly see the world, and herself, through new eyes. Victoria's world, so rigid and planned, shifted just a little. She felt the weight of her routines loosen, replaced by a sense of possibility she hadn't felt in years. She didn't know it yet, but her life was about to change. The smallest voice had managed to reach the deepest part of her heart. Lacey's boldness had cracked something open inside her. Victoria felt a vulnerability she'd long forgotten, mixed with a strange, budding hope. For the first time, Victoria felt a flutter of anticipation. The thought of sharing her world, even for a day, was both terrifying and thrilling. She wondered what it would be like to let someone in, to allow a little chaos and warmth to disrupt her carefully ordered life. Saturday couldn't come soon enough. For the first time in a long while, Victoria found herself looking forward to something unknown, her heart open to the possibility of change. Victoria's childhood was shaped by ambition, not affection. Her parents, brilliant but distant, valued achievement over connection. She learned to excel, to build walls, to rely on no one. Each success added another brick to her fortress. Her parents were gone now, leaving her with wealth but no real family. Her life was full of things, but empty of warmth. She had no close friends, no one to share a laugh or a holiday. The loneliness was constant, a quiet hum she tried to ignore. Meeting Lacey stirred something long buried, a memory of wanting attention, of longing for simple joy. Preparing for Saturday, Victoria felt that lost part of herself begin to wake. She wondered if it was possible to feel differently. Maybe, just maybe, she could. Saturday dawned bright and new. Victoria, dressed casually, picked up Lacey from the children's home. Lacey's excitement was infectious. Her pink dress and teddy bear set the tone. On a whim, they stopped at a park. Victoria hadn't been to one in decades. She pushed Lacey on the swings, laughter filling a space in her heart she'd forgotten. They ate ice cream on a bench, chocolate and strawberry dripping down their hands. Lacey chattered about her dreams and friends. Victoria listened, truly listened. The day was simple: sunshine, swings, and shared smiles. Victoria's mask began to crack. She found herself laughing, feeling warmth she'd missed for years. It was a day of color in her monochrome world. Their final stop was Victoria's office. Lacey's awe at the city view made Victoria see it anew. Magical, not just powerful. Lacey sat in the CEO's chair declaring, "I'm the boss! Free ice cream on Fridays!" Victoria laughed, a real hearty laugh that echoed in the quiet room. Lacey looked at her, serious. "Is it lonely up here?" No one had ever asked her that. Victoria hesitated, then answered honestly, "Sometimes it is." In that moment, a bond formed. Two lonely souls understanding each other. Lacey reached out, placing her small hand on Victoria's. The gesture was simple, but it meant everything. The office, once cold and silent, felt alive with connection. Victoria realized she wasn't alone in her loneliness. Lacey had seen through her walls. For the first time, Victoria let someone in. As dusk fell, Victoria and Lacey stood together, hand in hand, gazing at the city lights. Lacey quietly observed, "You don't have any family pictures." "I don't have a family either," she added, her voice soft but strong. The words weren't sad, just honest, a bridge between their worlds. Victoria saw herself in Lacey's loneliness. She realized her empire was empty without someone to share it with. True strength, she understood, was daring to care. Lacey had taught her more about love in a day than she'd learned in a lifetime. The fortress around Victoria's heart had finally cracked. Light was streaming in. She was ready for something new. The drive back to the children's home was silent. Lacey slept, teddy bear in arms. Victoria watched her, feeling a fierce, protective love. She wanted to keep Lacey safe, to end her loneliness. A decision formed, not of business, but of the heart. At the home, Victoria knelt beside Lacey. "How would you feel if our day didn't have to end?" she asked. Lacey's eyes widened with hope. "I want to adopt you," Victoria said, her voice trembling with emotion. Lacey's answer was a tearful, joyful yes. In that embrace, a family was born. Victoria's life had changed forever. She had chosen love. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of change and anticipation. Victoria spent late nights filling out adoption papers, her heart pounding with hope and fear in equal measure. She and Lacey painted the bedroom walls a sunny yellow, laughter echoing as they splattered paint and imagined the future. Each brushstroke felt like a promise, a fresh start, a new chapter waiting to be written. Laughter, once a stranger in Victoria's home, now filled every corner. The apartment, once silent and orderly, was alive with the sound of giggles and playful footsteps. Even the quiet moments felt warmer, as if the walls themselves were learning to smile. Her colleagues noticed the change. Victoria smiled more, asked about their lives, and brought donuts to work just because. She found herself genuinely interested in their stories, realizing how much she'd missed by keeping her distance all these years. The fortress around her heart was coming down, brick by brick. With every bedtime story, every shared meal, every small act of trust, she let Lacey in a little more. Vulnerability, once terrifying, now felt like freedom. The day Lacey moved in was the happiest of Victoria's life. She hugged her daughter tightly in the newly decorated room, tears of joy and relief mingling on her cheeks. It was a moment she'd dreamed of, but never truly believed would come. That night, they ate spaghetti at the kitchen table, laughing at the mess they made. Sauce splattered across the tablecloth, but neither cared. It was the kind of joyful chaos Victoria had always avoided, and now she cherished every second. Later, Victoria read Lacey a bedtime story, her voice soft and steady in the gentle glow of the lamp. She watched Lacey's eyes grow heavy, her small hand curled trustingly in Victoria's own. It was a ritual Victoria had never known herself as a child, and it filled her with a bittersweet gratitude. She was giving Lacey the comfort she'd always longed for. As she tucked Lacey in, smoothing the blankets and brushing hair from her forehead, Victoria felt a peace settle over her, a peace she'd never imagined possible. Sitting beside her sleeping daughter, Victoria realized that her restless search for meaning had finally ended. She was exactly where she was meant to be. This was what she'd been missing all along, not just success but true connection. The quiet moments, the shared smiles, the feeling of belonging to someone and having them belong to you. She was no longer just a CEO, she was a mother. The title felt heavier, richer, and more meaningful than any she'd ever held before. The pride and fulfillment she felt now eclipsed every professional achievement. In Lacey's eyes, she saw her own transformation. Her life was turned upside down in the best possible way. The mess, the noise, the unpredictability, it was all a sign of love growing in unexpected places. And she'd never been happier. Every day brought new challenges, but also new joys, and Victoria welcomed them all. It was a new beginning for both of them, a chance to build a life together hand in hand, one day at a time. Love had found its way in, filling the spaces that once felt empty, and promising a future neither of them could have imagined. Victoria and Lacey's story is simple, but it holds a powerful truth. Family isn't always about blood. It's about the people we choose. Love is a choice, to be brave, to open our hearts, to care. Victoria learned that true fulfillment comes from connection, not success. Lacey taught her that vulnerability is strength, not weakness. The most valuable things in life are the bonds we form. Sometimes family is a circle we draw ourselves. Victoria and Lacey chose each other, healing together. Their story proves that love can blossom in the most unexpected places. In the end, what truly makes a family is the choice to love every single. What's something people don't know about stories? They never truly end. There's always a new adventure waiting for you. Just pick your next tale and I'll meet you there. Subscribe to the Story Circle and let me know which story I should tell next in the comments.